Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome back to another beta recap. It's been a while now, 2 weeks, mainly because last week not a lot had happened on beta, but this week we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So in this video I will go through an update to the siege camp changes in the guild battleground. Then I will also go through or catch you up on the anniversary event, the innovation pass, and the guild expedition updates, which I've already talked about in previous beta recaps. But we also have 2 new things this time. We have a first look at the wildlife event, which seems to have been moved up slightly. And then we also have a brand new pirate event, which looks really interesting. I believe this is most likely a replacement for the summer event, because the themes and all of that are quite similar, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So that's what I'll go through in this video. As usual, you can find the timestamps in the description. One thing I quickly want to mention is that assuming the Sentinel Outpost is the daily special tomorrow, which I do believe is quite likely, I will be live streaming on Monday the 6th of February at 7 p.m. Central European time. So if you're interested, I will link that in the description. If the Sentinel is not the daily special, it will probably be moved. So check out the video and and you can see when it will go live, or the live stream rather. All right, let's start looking at the daily changelogs, or actually let's start by skipping the daily changelogs, because I don't think a lot interesting has happened. This week hardly anything happened, and last week a few things happened, but not really a lot. So if you want to read them yourself, I will link them in the description, but nothing too interesting. So let's move on to the guild battleground update. So, dear kings and queens, and just some thank to us for testing, we would like to revisit GBG later this year to introduce more changes that will hopefully help us improve the future. Because of this, we will keep the current balancing on beta, but not yet release it on live markets. This way, we will not go back and forth with the changes and later can shape the whole feature to see how everything performs together. So, I think that's quite nice that they are taking a step back. They realize that, or they have already realized something needs to be done about GBG, but based on the feedback and probably some data they received, simply the siege camp nerf is not enough or didn't achieve what they wanted, so they're taking a step back and, according to this at least, are going to rework it or change it a little bit more. And I'm quite happy with this. I think I've been quite vocal about it, or perhaps not vocal, but I've said it quite a few times that I'm not a big fan of GBG. I don't find it that compelling, that interesting to play. So hopefully they are able to shake things up a little bit, make it a bit more interesting, and perhaps a better long term. So let's see how they achieve this. But that will be for later this year, and it does mean, again, that they will not release the nerf to siege camps on live right now. Now, that said, I would like to emphasize that we might have to adjust the game development plan over the course of this year and eventually adjust or postpone any of our original plans, including the GBG changes. So this is a little bit cryptic because it doesn't say why they have to adjust, but this probably has to do with, or I've heard some rumors, people talking about the new management coming in last year, I think towards the end or middle of last year. And we've definitely seen that in game. There's been a lot of changes, mostly in regards to monetization, which me personally I'm not a big fan of. But we also see some other things like updating the tutorial, and we've seen some background stuff as well. So it seems like they are working on some stuff behind the scenes to, I don't know, make some bigger changes, I suppose. Because of that, according to this at least, they might have to adjust or postpone any of the original plans, including the GBG changes. I think most noticeably to us players is that the new age, we haven't heard anything about it yet, so that is probably one of those things that has been at least postponed. Last year, we started seeing spoiler stuff for the next stage in December, it is now February and we still don't have any information about it. So my guess is that the age is at least delayed until summer or fall, but who knows, it might even be delayed until next year. So that's probably one of the consequences of them trying to, or I'm guessing working on some stuff behind the scenes, restructuring things and so on. So we'll see. I'm sure we will hear more about this in the future. Okay, let's move on to the spoiler section. Starting with the anniversary event, we don't have too many new images, but we do have some very interesting information about the event. So first of all, we have this cheat sheet here, which shows a little bit more information about how to combine, or what to get from combining gems, and also a bit more on how the keys will work. So it seems like some of the gems that spawn on the board will have key parts, and you can combine them with keys, or with other gems, or gems with other key pieces to get full key pieces here, as you can see, and then combining that with a converter will give you keys. And it seems like the number of keys will depend on the level of the gem with this key. So that appears to be one way to get a key. Another way to get a key, let's see if I can find it here, because it was in one of these information texts here. Yeah, so keys can be collected from putting water. Okay, first of all, taking a step back, the keys, in the past we had, or we just called them blue, white, and yellow keys. They are now named water keys, which are the blue ones, wind keys, which are the white/green ones. And then we also have fire keys, which are the yellow or orange ones. And the same thing is for gems. We have water, wind, and fire gems. So that's the different colors that you see here. So water, fire, and wind, most likely. Where was it? The fire keys, or any key, can be collected from putting gem pieces with fully merged keys into the converter, which is this thing here, which is going to be one tile on the board, most likely, or from daily challenges. So that seems to be the two ways to get the keys, and this will probably work similar to how you can get ingredients in the fall event, or key pieces for calendars in events with calendar and so on. So similar to that, where you can get a little bit for the event from the daily challenges. And you can use the keys to open chests. Now, as you can see here, there are a lot of information text here, and that's one of the biggest changes or updates this time. I will not go through all of them, I think. But yeah, one big thing is that we do have the names of the pieces, so fire, water, and wind. Once again, let me just quickly go up here. Here we have them. Here we have the gem pieces and also the key pieces here. Now, the gems have also gotten a slight update in the look. So the old look we have down here. So we can see that they have been updated a bit, and they're now a bit more distinct, I think. And the white one has been changed to this green-looking one. But yeah, now that it is called wind and not white, that doesn't really matter too much. So yeah. Now, another new asset that I think we have had for a while, I just haven't included it in my videos or in this post here. We have some animations for breaking these glass panes, which is related to the mechanics of the minigame and locked tiles. Not quite sure how that will work, but we'll see. Yeah, I think that's most of the stuff for the assets. So let's look a little bit more at these here. So board finish and stuff like that we already knew. Cheat sheet, you can open that. Now here, claim your reward and reset the board. You can also finish your last move by closing this window. Remaining 3 pieces on the board will get converted into following keys. So when you finish or reset the board, it seems like things will be converted to keys. That's probably the remaining gems and stuff like that you have on the board will be converted to keys. So that's, I suppose, is a third way to get keys. You can convert it as you're playing. Then when you finish the game, if you have remaining pieces, those will be converted somehow, probably a little bit less efficiently. And you can also get them from the daily challenges. All right. I think we've mentioned the resource or the event currency is energy, can be collected from quests and incidents or for purchase. That's as usual. Use it to spawn new pieces on the board or to reset your board without a board completion reward. That's another thing, a board completion reward is something we see repeated a few times here. Now, there was one more information text with the energy I wanted to look at. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here. Use energy to spawn one new piece on the board. All pieces have a chance to spawn, but the higher level pieces have a lower spawn chance compared to lower level pieces. And then there was one more. So let's see. You have to clear all the locked pieces on the board to unlock the reward, and that's the completion reward, board completion reward, I believe. So as long as there are locked pieces on the board, whatever that means, you can't get the board completion reward, whatever that might be. This one, I don't really want to read through all of these. I guess I should have prepared a little bit better. Let me see if I can find it. Anyways, so yeah, guess what I wanted to talk about is that previously we have kind of speculated that this is similar to the wildlife event, for example, where we have a ticket, you use a ticket, you start a board, you have a set number of moves. Once you have used up all of those, you end the game or the board. Here it seems like you start a board, but then for each move you spend a little bit of event currency. So instead of getting a certain amount of free moves, each move have a certain cost. And that also means, I believe, that there will not be a fixed number of moves. You can continue as long as you want, spend as much as you want, until you want to reset the board for whatever reason you might want to do that. So it's not... So yeah, we don't have a kind of a secondary event currency like tickets, where you get a certain number of attempts at the minigame. You just play with your currency as much as you want, or as much as you can, and that seems to be the way you do it. Anyways, if you want to, you can read through all of these yourself. We have a decent amount of interesting stuff there. And I believe that's it for the new stuff when it comes to the anniversary event. It shouldn't be too long now, I think, before it comes out on beta. Possibly next week, or if not, the week after that would be my guess. All right, let's move on to the Innovation Pass / Path of Innovation. We don't really have too much new here, but I quickly wanted to just go through what we have so far, because I don't think I've been too organized in my last videos on exactly what this is. Not that we know, but what my speculation is. So yeah, my speculation is that this is an event called Path of Innovation. But the event itself, I believe, will be more like the historical events we had a couple of years ago. So you start it, you get a set of quests to complete, and as you complete them, you get random rewards. And then after you have completed all of them, you get a big reward from the event. And that the Innovation Pass is a secondary reward for each quest you complete. So I don't believe there will be grand prizes and stuff like that. I think it will be a simple event like those we have seen in the past. I also think this will be an individual event. So instead of a seasonal event that everybody gets at the same time, I believe this event will be triggered somehow after you have completed the tutorial. Now, I'm not sure how that will work with established players, but I guess my guess would be that when they do introduce this event, that all players will be able to play it, and then moving forward, new players will be able to play it once they have reached a certain stage in the tutorial, would be my guess. So yeah. Here we have some information text that I'm partly basing this speculation on. Here, for example, get this second set of prizes alongside the quest rewards while progressing through the quests, which seems to suggest it's based on quests, as we have mentioned. Another reason why I don't believe it's a regular event is that all of these assets here, usually for other events, they have a seasonal event in the name of the asset. So if I open that in a new tab, here we can see Share GUI Innovation Pass and so on. Now, most events, if you go back here, for example, open this, you will see seasonal events here. That is not part of any of the assets for the Innovation Pass, which is another reason why I don't think it's a regular event. So yeah. Now, as for the assets, we don't really have a lot new. I think you'll see in all of this. Here we have the quest giver, which is Berta. We do have this though, reward icon grand prize, which again might actually suggest that I'm wrong, that it's not a grand prize, although this might just be a name left over from other events. It's just a placeholder right now, so I guess we will see what it will mean. We have the progression stuff, we have event pass, chests and so on, event pass kind of background stuff, so we don't really have a lot. But here we have quest banner, and some shop stuff. So yeah, that's what we have right now. Most of that is already familiar, but now we've gone through a little bit more organized what my speculation is right now, at least for the event. Let's move on. Guild Expedition, we don't really have any new information here, sadly. Hopefully it will be released any day now, who knows. But yeah, no, we don't have anything new here. I believe the relics or fortifications here have been updated. Yeah, the fortifications here have been updated slightly. I haven't updated this yet. Just a look of them, so nothing new really. But yeah, so yeah, nothing new here to report. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Hopefully we will learn more next week, and hopefully it will be started quite soon. Alright, let's move into the more exciting stuff. Wildlife event. So the wildlife event seems to have been moved up a decent bit. At least, it might not be in the order that the assets have been released, but if it is, that would suggest that the wildlife event will be after the anniversary event. And the anniversary event will be after the St. Patrick's Day event. So the anniversary event is probably March, and then April probably for the wildlife event. But I guess we will see. So we have some icons here, which all seem to have some Asian inspirations. Panda would suggest perhaps China, Tibet, around that area. So yeah, who knows? We will see. We will see. We also have, well, a bunch of kits. Most of these are placeholders. We do have one here that is not a placeholder. Who was it? It was Nova. Yeah, Nova mentioned that it's similar in style to the Shinto temple, for example. This reminds me of the gong for the Sakura set, for example. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait to see truly what it is. So this one is for the main building, probably. But we also have an upgrade kit for a 5th building, E, for a 6th building, and selection kit for building 2, 3, and 4. So 6 buildings in total, this would suggest, which to me that would suggest perhaps a set building. Perhaps that, or possibly a chain building. So main building here, chain building with 3 different buildings, B, C, D, and then perhaps 2 additional secondary buildings. Who knows? Perhaps even a combination, both a set and a chain building, and that would be interesting. So yeah, very interesting. I guess it'll take some time before we know more, but definitely looking forward to. We do have the golden upgrade kit, which is a shame. That seems to be an established trend now, sadly. But hopefully they do continue with the way they implemented it in the St. Patrick's Day event at the end, where you can get the fragments you need for the golden kit from the main building itself, so you don't have to spend any diamonds. So yeah, in addition to that, we have some backgrounds here for the shop, for the event pass, but other than that, we don't really have more right now. But I do think this is very interesting to see all these different kits, and I'll definitely be interested to learn more. I personally, of course, would like a set, but I know I'm not probably not in the majority there. But yeah, anyways, that'll be fun to see. All right, pirate event. Let's move on to what I think is the most interesting news from this week. We have yeah, a brand new event. And I'm sure you'll see why I believe this is a replacement for the summer, but let's go through it. So we have the currency, which is pirate doubloons, or actually probably only doubloons. Pirate is the name of the event, so yeah, probably just doubloons will be the currency. We have this here, oyster. Doesn't look like oyster at all, but it's interesting at least. Here we have the wallpaper main. So this is probably the background for the minigame. And I think it looks really interesting. Yeah, really, I really like the look. That's all really we have for the main, for the mechanics, I suppose, of the main thing. But we do have some secondary things. We have the calendar and piggy bank as well, and event pass. So starting with the calendar, now this might just be a regular calendar like we have in the winter event or the Halloween event, archaeology event, and so on. Or perhaps it will be slightly more advanced. We have Pirate Calendar Chest, which is probably the reward chest after you have completed the calendar. We have Pirate Calendar Legend, which I'm not sure if that is something we usually have, but this would suggest that there might be a bit more complexity to how the calendar works, which would be interesting. Or it might just be some sort of decoration. Let's see if we can figure it out, I suppose. So I guess 4 key parts or keys will create 1 full key. I'm not quite sure what this means. But here, these pieces here are these pieces here, I think. So we have Pirate Calendar Stone claimable, claimed, not available, unclaimed. So in the event, the claimable will probably be if you have found the daily key that day, you can click on it to claim it. Claimed is slots you have already claimed. Not available will probably be slots from days in the future, which will not be available yet. And unclaimed will probably be past days that you didn't claim. So yeah, I guess this might just be a an interesting way to explain how it works, I suppose. Not quite sure what this means. So yeah, full key, an unclaimed or a claimable. So perhaps full key, claimable. You will then claim it. Probably is that what this is saying. This one, claimed key. Perhaps if you have claimed all of them, you will get a reward. Probably. This is probably each day. Each day a new not available tile will become unclaimed, or claimable will become available. Perhaps that might be the first one here. So then I guess the only one we don't really know is this. What's that? Kind of infinity or snake biting its own or another one's tail. Perhaps that you get the keys from playing the game. Perhaps what this means. Anyways, that's not important. We have a calendar. How many tiles? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 32. Okay, so this might be a long event then. Same length as the winter event. That's interesting. Interesting. So it might be quite a long event then. Anyways, we have a background or wallpaper for the calendar. This seems to be blurred out, a placeholder for now, I suppose. Yeah, here we have the key. Key pieces probably. So this fits on the board here. So probably as you get key pieces or key fragments or whatever they're called, they will be added to this thingy, and when you have a full one, you can use that key to unlock a spot you haven't claimed before, probably. Perhaps that you get 4 fragments when playing, perhaps, and I don't know. Let's move on. Okay, we also have the piggy bank mechanic, which is the same as the reindeer sleigh, elf's gift shop from the winter event. We also had a piggy bank in last year's summer event. Another reason why this might be the summer event. So here, don't really have anything about the mechanics. Uberhelp made a very nice image here combining all these assets. So we have the merchant here, which is probably the same as the elf in the gift shop we had. So you have two options to choose from that will be added to the prices you have available. We have background, foreground, and here, very lovely image that will help combine using all of those three assets. Not quite sure what the scrolls here might be. An unlock item might be that an item or an icon where to unlock you have to spend diamonds probably. So yeah, this is a piggy bank, the premium feature that we have, that we know from a few other events. And then finally we have a bit or some event pass assets. Not really a lot, just the box to purchase the event pass from the store. Here's the background. And that's all we have for now, but I'm really excited to see see how this will work. And yeah, definitely for the main mechanics, which I don't think we have any information about right now. Possibly, I know, some sort of dice game, perhaps. That's the balloons probably. This one I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I think it looks really interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to cover it more in the future when we learn more about it. All right. Now, I guess that's all for today. Actually, let me quickly, because it is now just past the time where the new daily special appears. Okay, so we do have Sentinel Outpost tomorrow, which means that I will be live streaming tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central European time. I'm used to saying summertime, but it's not summertime at the moment. So yeah, I believe that's it for today. But before I end, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Homestar, Forty Effect, Lorden, Rocken Open, Kim McKaylee, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Timnat, JT, Shanti, Merrick P, Hugo Kant von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Judith Jonas, Filda, Susan Weiss, Rocco, Morten Emres, Henrik der Klerberg, Mattia, Obsidi Obsessed, Raf, Adaril, Mike, Wolfboy, Atomic, Ruth, Flavius Belisarius, and Karen. Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.